Hey everyone, this is Disc Junkie, and welcome back to Secondhand Sickness. So today I'm actually standing, way in the outback because I've actually been visiting an acquaintance of mine to pick up something really exciting, and that is that in my trunk I actually have a big haul of videotapes and Super 8 movies and what have you. I have not gone through this at all. I've essentially just loaded it into the car. I have no idea if there is potential gold or if this is just all trash. I really don't know. But I am feeling really excited to check it out, so I hope you are as well. But it's really cold outside, so I'm just gonna jump in the car, I'm gonna drive back home, then we are going to unbox this and see what the hell is in those boxes. Alright, so I am back in the man cave. I have my haul in front of me, and it worked out to roughly 4 moving boxes, or 4.5, because there's a smaller box underneath, and like a bag there. And I gotta be honest that I'm quite sure that all of this is not videotapes. There are essentially some Super 8 movies, potentially, some sort of phonograph or whatever. I don't really know what these are called. But essentially these, which I think might be audio tapes, I don't really know. But I have not gone through this at all. I've essentially just carried it to the car. I've seen a couple of tapes that were like on top, but I literally don't know anything about the contents of these. So it's gonna be really exciting to go through, and I figured we will set up a tripod so I can, have my hand free. There will definitely be some fast forwarding in this video because I cannot, go through everything in detail, and most of this is probably going to be pretty uninteresting, but I do know that there is some really interesting stuff. There's essentially a big garbage bag over here, which actually has quite a bit of, I really don't want to say it, but I would say that there's definitely some sort of moldy content. You can see some of these cases look really, really dirty. But he was like, it's free. This whole thing is just, take it if you want it. And I'm like, it's free. I'm grabbing it. So, a bit of a backstory to this whole thing is that this is a guy I've known for years. He's essentially the father of one of my ex-co-workers. So, what happened was that a few years back, this is way, way back, long ago, I'm thinking at least 5 years, I think, he essentially got in touch with me, or essentially my co-worker sort of set us together because she knew that, he had quite an extensive porn collection, which, I'm just attracting these kind of people now, essentially, because I tend to be pretty open about the fact that I collect vintage porn and yada, yada, yada. For whatever reason, she figured that, you should probably talk to my dad because he's clearing out a bunch of old stuff. And so we got in touch, and he essentially gave me his porn collection. This was many years ago. And so since then, every now and then we tend to run into each other at flea markets and stuff. And so he called me a while back saying that he was clearing out some stuff and that he did have some videotapes. And I actually went there a few weeks ago and ended up picking up a single box of tapes, which, I gotta be honest, this was absolutely not of any interest to me. Just generic sort of 90s tapes. I think I have found one tape which I kept, but most of it was not of any value or interest to me. However, I actually purchased something from him, which is this pair of Super 8 projectors. Now, I haven't really had time to talk about this, but this is essentially a Chinon Sound DS300, which is a color and sound projector, which essentially projects Super 8 movies on a plastic screen, through rear projection, meaning that you have a regular reel on here and then it projects using a mirror, which is right here, which means that you get your Super 8 film from a regular reel, but you get it projected onto the screen. It's a really cool functionality, I think. It's a brilliant design. Now I will probably make a detailed video about both of these projectors, because I'm planning to do like a sort of retro technology type series in the future, and so I'm saving a bunch of these things to make detailed reviews of them in the future. So we will get back to these, but I wanted to mention that I did actually purchase these from the same guy, and I essentially paid €50 for these two projectors, and seeing as they, or at least the big one, is actually working, I think that's actually not a bad deal. It's not like a super bargain, but it's definitely a decent deal. But as for all the rest of this stuff, this was free, and now it's high time that we go through it. So I'm gonna set you up on a tripod real quick, and we can actually go ahead and move this over here. Okay, I think this is probably the best I'm gonna be able to do. So I'm just gonna move over here, get something to sit on, and I will have to sort of check back to the camera every now and then to see that it's running, but hopefully it's gonna be okay. So I am actually most curious about the garbage bag in the back, but we are going to get to that. So I'm just going to start with this one. This is probably going to be fairly uninteresting, but, well, let's just get to it. Okay, so right off the bat, I can tell you that this looks to be really mixed. First up, we actually have some phono bands. So these are essentially audio bands, and I don't own any of this kind of stuff, to be honest. I don't really know if I can even play it, but this would most likely be played on a reel-to-reel player. I do have a reel-to-reel player, but I don't have one that is actually functioning. Not really sure if this is something I want to keep, but I am essentially just going to go through everything, and I'm going to try to put stuff into piles and try to figure out, like, what do I want to keep and what do I not want to keep. So yeah, I don't find these so interesting, so I'm gonna get some of these phono bands, just move them to the side. This one was actually kind of interesting looking, so I'm not sure if I will want to see that. We'll see. So yeah, let's just go ahead and fast forward a bit while I move this out of the way. Okay, so we've now gotten quite a bit of these phono bands out of the way, and this wasn't anything that I was particularly aware of. I did see some of them when we were going through the stuff, so here is the whole batch so far. You know, I don't really have a way to play these, don't know if I will keep them, throw them away, sell them, whatever, but not of particular interest. Let's just call it that I'm not really super excited about them. But now we are getting to some videotapes. So let's go ahead and see. I do spot one here, which I actually think is fairly interesting. So this appears to be something called The Man from Hotel Ritz. Not a film I've heard about. It actually has a swastika on the cover. Just going to do a quick check to see if this tape is decent. And it is quite a cold tape. Hopefully this has not been in too damp of an environment, but it doesn't appear to have any mold on it. So yeah, this is definitely a keeper. No idea if this has any value to it, but I am definitely keeping that one. So let's see what else. Okay, so I've run through this first box, and I can tell you that most of it was pretty uninteresting. I'm not going to show you everything. I can show you everything once we're done, and you can sort of get an idea of how much what's not of interest. But I did actually score a small batch here, which we might just check out briefly. So here is Burt Reynolds in something which I don't know if I have the original title of this. It is called Sharky's Machine, not a film I've heard about. Then we got an old sort of Jungle Book cartoon. I personally don't have any interest in this, but it looked very retro, so I figured this might be worth something to somebody. Then we got the classic, this is from Esseltia. I noticed that there is actually quite a bit of sort of moist on these, so I will probably have to go through these in detail to try and sort of clean them up, because some of them are actually slightly wet, which is a real shame, but it does look like the cassettes are fine. So anyway, what I was saying, this is a movie called High Plains Drifter. It's a Clint Eastwood film. And lastly, we have one which is called Joker. This is a fairly classic Swedish one. The cover has seen better days, but seeing as it does actually have the original tape. And I also realized that this is actually moldy, so probably not going to keep this, because both the tape and the cassette is in pretty bad shape. So we're adding that to the track pile. But yeah, so we got a small stack of tapes at least, and well, now we're just gonna move over to the next. There is some stuff here which I haven't even bothered to take out because it's not really of interest. So let's just move this out of the way, and we are going to continue with the next one. You know what? I'm actually going to jump ahead and we're gonna look into the trash bag of mystery, because this is definitely the one thing which I'm most curious about. Let's see if we can score a little bit of gold in this overly trashy looking box or bag of stuff. We're going to take a look into this. This was handed to me literally in a trash bag, which is like broken, and he told me that this was something he found recently and that most of this is probably in really bad shape. He literally says that some of these cases are moldy, they've got, you know, water damage to them, and this was one of the things which I happened to sort of peek into and feel like, okay, this looks like really interesting stuff. So let's begin. First up, this is such a shame. You can see the shape of this. This is in terrible shape, very moldy outer case. Such a shame because this case doesn't look like much. It's got like this fake sort of velvety type cover. I've only seen this once before, but I've come to realize that this particular icon, which you can see here, this is actually a label which is called Eroticon. I'm not sure if it's 90s or late 80s, but it was essentially like a distributor which I think you could only get through mail order. And they were essentially selling these porn tapes with this quite sort of, oh, so this is so dirty, I don't really want to touch this, but I'm actually going to open this up, see if, hopefully, well, I gotta be honest, looking at the, okay, you can see even like the tape has a bit of literal mold to it, not like tape mold. Not seeing too much on the tape. Might keep this. This is essentially a porn. It is Tracy Takes Tokyo, The Unforgettable Gals. I don't really know what the original title is, but okay. So cassette is maybe salvageable. I'm gonna put that to the side. The case, I don't even want to touch this anymore. So I'm actually gonna bring out a literal trash bag. Like, I just want to get rid of this as fast as possible because the shape. Oh, I can't even open this, and I don't want to lick my fingers because I literally have like mold on my fingers. Oh, just give me a second. Gonna get a little bit of paper here. We're actually gonna wipe down this damaged tape. So yeah, like I said, no idea if this is decent enough, but it actually looks okay. So I'm gonna keep that, just keeping the tape. Another one from the same distributor. It's such a shame that I'm not even gonna get into it. But once again, this is Farmer's Daughter. Tape literally looks fine. Next up, we got a plastic case. So this is Peter O'Brien in The Intruder. And we got Operation Cobra. I have this one, but not with this combo. There is some water damage on the, or some moist on it. But the tape, you know, it's like this. Like it has mold. I don't even know if this... you see what happens? And you know, I'm trying to just clean up the mold, and literally like the paper just destroyed. So, well, this is a cheap one, so I'm actually gonna skip this. I'm gonna place it in the trash pile. So let's see what else. Okay, can we do anything with this? See, here is one which might be salvageable. So this is Tora, quite a classic. And yeah, the exterior case looks... You can probably clean this up. See what the original tape looks like. Ah, okay. So tape, very moldy. So, you know, cleaning moldy tapes... I'm not really an expert. I've never really attempted that, so not really sure. I don't know the value of this, but I'll put this to the side because, I mean, the insert looks okay, so it's in the maybe pile, I guess. Okay, here's a classic. This is The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly, but once again, probably thinking that the tape, yeah, moldy tape. Oh, yeah, it's terrible. I don't know what the original title is, but it appears to be a Charles Bronson movie. Like you can see, terrible shape. Yeah, tape is completely moldy. This is literally like, this is, oh, it's such a shame. This is terrible news because so much of this is not savable. Here's another really cool cover. It's just called Super Cop. This is actually a movie I own. But once again, well, this tape doesn't look too bad. So, yeah, I'm not really sure. Let's place this in the maybe pile. I might do like an auction or something on those and we'll see. Okay, this looks... We're closing in on something. Maybe I could clean this up. I don't know. I'm not really an expert on cleaning moldy tapes, but it doesn't smell too bad. Let's hope that the set is... Yeah, this doesn't look too bad. So another adult tape. And this is, so far, this is the case that's been in the best shape so far, I think. Not in great shape, but I think this is, yeah, this one is probably a keeper. Here's another one. Once again, really needs a cleaning. So, yeah, maybe we can... It's like this velvety material also, so... Well, to be honest, it actually does clean up quite well. I'm not sure... Yeah. Well, good news is that these cases seem to actually clean up pretty decently, unless, I mean, we had some before which were just beyond repair, but these which just have like the surface wear to them, this actually cleaned up pretty good. So yeah, once again, tape looks okay, and this appears to be a copy of Debbie Does Dallas #3. So like I said, all of these in these red sort of velvety cases are essentially adult films. So these are essentially porn titles. And this is the first time I've actually seen several copies of these. So I will be placing these to the side and hopefully I'll be able to save some of them. See what else we got. So here is Ninja Protector. And on the back we got one of these Mist special titles, which is called Shadows in the Dark. I already have this film, and once again moldy tape, so don't really need this. Gonna put it in the maybe pile in case somebody else needs it. And let's see. Okay, another one. Looks good on the cover, but the back isn't all that interesting. Not sure if we will consider this cleanable, but maybe. This tape does have mold. This used to be For Your Thighs Only. Don't really know much about this. Alright, putting it in the maybe pile. This is the worst shape I've ever seen videotapes in, I gotta be honest. So let's see, is there anything left in here that we might save? What is this? Okay, let's see. Okay, here we got a tape which is in good shape, but the insert is not in the best of shape. This is Kung Fu Master. And then we got, not really sure what the original Karate Hit, I don't know. Alright, but that goes in the maybe pile. Let's see if we can salvage that. I think the rest of it is essentially just loose tapes. Or wait, maybe there's something actually underneath this. So. Okay, there's a couple of stuff still left in here. So let's see. Okay, that is trash. What is this? Okay, here's another Chuck Norris. If we had one before, here's a Chuck Norris tape, which is actually in pretty good shape. This doesn't look too damaged. And okay, slight mold on the tape, but this looks like it could definitely be cleanable. So okay, that goes in the maybe pile as well. Once again, such a shame. And this case is also quite broken. And this is also moldy tape. Okay, I'm gonna skip that one because the case is literally broken. Okay. Now, first glance, this looks to be mostly children's movies, I think. I don't have a lot of hope for this. Figure we're probably gonna hit fast forward right away. Here we got Thelma and Louise, kind of a classic. Not really a collectible tape. I don't think it's one I own. This is from 1992. Not really okay, maybe. Put it in the maybe pile. And now we've actually run into some unexpected stuff, which I haven't yet been able to identify. And okay, I'm thinking these are probably slides. So here you can see these are obviously photo slides. I'm gonna assume he did not know that these were in here. So I'm gonna put these to the side and we'll see if he wants them back. Then I'll return them next time I'm over there. If there's anything left in here that might be interesting to save. Oh, here's a horsey. So, see, here we got another small bag. Not holding my breath for any finds in here, but see. Okay, this appears to be mostly. Okay, seems there might be some Super 8s in here. Another retail tape. Not really of interest to me. Oh, these are also audio, I think, marked as, yeah. So these would require reel-to-reel player. No idea what this literally is, because it doesn't seem to be labeled. Also not sure about the shape of this reel. So I'm gonna put that over in the audio tape pile. This had quite a nice graphic to it. Might keep this just because it's a nice design. But generally, not too interested in this. Just want to make sure that these aren't Super 8 films, because this particular case could be both. Let's see what we got. Okay. Oh, this is magnetic tape. Yeah, this would also be audio tape. Yeah, there's really not much in here. Here's a Tony little target training tape. Oh, pretty ridiculous. But yeah, not gonna keep that either. And then there's just a bunch of these, you know, audio recording reels, which I don't care for. Wondering if, what are these? Are these also audio tapes, or are they? Yeah, I think these are all. I don't think these are Super 8 reels. They are also in terrible shape. Looks like these are all phono bands or audio bands. Yeah. I'm not gonna get into these, because you can see these are in terrible shape. I don't really have a need for the reels, so yeah, this was also quite a bit of a trashy bag. Oh, actually got a seal videotape. No idea if I need this, but I'll add that to the, you know, savable pile. See, then we got a professional video cleaner kit. Well, I'll save that. Never know. Then we get into some movies. Is there anything of interest here? What the hell is this? What the I'm speechless. I have no idea what this would be. Guessing this might be home movie. Okay. Well, this has me curious. No clue, but I will probably be watching that because it is one of the weirdest home designs I've ever seen. Okay. Nah, not keeping this. This is not of interest. We're just gonna box this up again. We're now closing in on the last box here. It is a big box, but not feeling super excited, but you never know. So let's open this up. Okay, well, this is definitely full of videotapes, it looks like. So let's hope for something interesting. So here is a retail copy of Dante's Peak. And even these have some old spots. So yeah, I'm definitely going to only keep the stuff that I find super interesting. If it's, you know, anything like this which doesn't really have value, I'm just gonna throw out. So yeah, let's just see what we can find. It looks kind of interesting. Wicked City. Not something I've heard of. And this appears to be mold free, so that is actually a keeper. Ooh, here we got a copy of Alien 3, which I don't own. So, not sure what this is. Wow. So this appears to be actually a Swedish tape. Which is really confusing to me, because I didn't think we had cardboard releases or cardboard cases for the Alien saga. Once again, slightly moldy tape. We'll put that in the maybe pile. I would have kept that if it was in okay shape. Oh, here's a copy of Aliens. I think these are actually from the old Alien Trilogy VHS box set. This one is in decent shape. So putting that in the save pile. See what else? Here we got Apollo 13. Just a small retail. Not too interesting. And here is obviously the first one. So that's what we were looking for. Also decent shape. Is there any mold to it? A little bit of mold. Putting it in the maybe pile. I don't know if I should maybe put the last one. I don't know. We'll keep the second movie in the save for now. Okay, here we got a copy of Death Race 2000, which is actually in good shape. No mold to it. This is a cheap retail clam, like I think 90s, but I think I might have this, but even so, it is a nice cover and it's in good shape, so I am actually keeping that one. Hold on. What the hell is this? Okay, this is a new one. I don't think I've ever seen a VHS case like this. So what is this? Is this like a cleaner tape? Oh. Huh. Look at that. So, yeah, this looks to be a cleaning tape. Gotta be said, it's a really cool looking tape. Really unique design. It's like brown, black on top. It comes in a really curious case. Never seen one like this. Definitely keeping this just as a curiosity item, because this is definitely weird. And yeah, that is really weird. Here's a copy of Universal Soldier. Not a collectible tape by any means, but it is actually a mold-free tape. So, yeah, okay. It's actually a keeper. But aside from that, I have to say that this box, that's really all there was. There really wasn't anything left in here. So I'm gonna go ahead and, yeah, I'm not really sure what I'm gonna do. Maybe give you a bit of an overview, I guess. So here's a look at everything we got today. And I gotta be honest, you know, this is all trash. This is all trash. Everything I'm throwing away. Here are a few titles which I'm placing in the maybe pile. These would definitely have fetched a little bit of money if they were in good shape. But given that most of them are moldy, even like the alien tapes there, these are probably, you know, maybe I'll put an auction on them, see if somebody wants them. Maybe I can clean some of them up, I don't know. But yeah, these are probably not gonna be salvageable. I don't know, we'll see. But aside from that, we only have some very few which I'll be saving. All of this is going to the dump. But right over here is a small batch of stuff which I'll actually be saving or looking into. So we can actually run through these real quick. I'm just gonna move over to the table to show you these. Okay, so here we got the entire lot for today. This is everything I decided to keep. Everything else is going to the trash. Now, if you did see something among the maybe titles that you're interested in, feel free to shoot me a message, but I will probably add this to some sort of general sales group for auction or something. I don't know, but it's not something I intend to keep myself. So, just to run through this briefly, here is an insert for Super Cop, which is quite an unusual film. I don't know what the original title is. I believe it is actually an Italian one, if I remember correctly. But this insert was actually in fairly good shape. I was able to clean it up. So I have actually decided to keep this, and we'll be replacing the case with something else. Now, this tape was actually also in decent shape. You might be seeing slight bit of mold to it, but I still felt like maybe this is salvageable. Maybe somebody who knows mold cleaning can figure this out or would want to be purchasing this. I don't know, but we'll see. So I actually kept that to be able to maybe sell because I actually have that tape already. Then I did also change my mind about two tapes. These are a couple of titles from the Eroticon label with the nice little icon there. So this is Born to Run and For Your Thighs Only. These two are moldy, but they're, I don't know, maybe I can figure out how to clean these, and then I would actually want to save them, even though the cases for these were literally, I don't even want to touch them. I tried to sort of brush some of it off, but they just looked way too damaged, so didn't save those. But might be able to salvage these if I can figure out how to do mold cleaning. I don't know. So those three are like maybe titles. Then there is actually quite a bit of stuff here, which I'm fairly happy about. First up, we got the Weirdo Cleaner cassette with the really funky case. So this was definitely a fun item, which I'm really happy about. Never seen one of these before. It looks really cool, and it could make for a really cool spool swap in case I want to do that. Never actually seen a case which has a clear clasp tool like this. So I don't know, just a really cool and unusual design. So this was actually fun, and it looks to be in pretty good shape, seeing as it has this really unique protective case for it. So that's pretty decent. Then we have a copy of Universal Soldier. Not a rare or collectible tape, but even so. Here is a Clint Eastwood movie, which I'm not sure if I showed. And this is, what is the original title for this? Do I even know? Well, it's called Hang Them High in Swedish. This is a small retail clam, but I really did like the look of this design. It feels like a very well designed cover. So decided to keep that, and generally this was also in good shape. Doesn't have any mold to it, looks brand new, so that is definitely a keeper. Then we got the copy of Aliens, which was one of the few titles in that lot that was actually mold free, as far as I can tell. So I did also get Alien and Alien 3, but these were both had the mold on the tapes, so I'm not keeping those. God damn it, can't even get this back in the case. Whatever. Here's an empty case. This is just one of those typical 3M archive cases, which I just kept because you never know, you might need an extra case. Then we got the Jungle Book, which also not really of interest to me, but looked like quite an early sort of variation. Not sure where this was or when this was released, but even so, one of the few sort of animated titles that stood out to me, so I decided to keep that. Got another Clint Eastwood movie. This is The Man with the Bullwhip. I'm sure it's called something else. It's High Plains Drifter in the original title. Then we got a cleaning cassette tape. Not sure if I will keep that, but kept it for now. Then we got The Man from the Hotel Ritz. First tape in the lot that I actually kept. Then we got the Burt Reynolds movie, which was called Sharky's Machine. And we got the super weird home movie, which I don't know if this is from his personal collection or whatever this is, but I have to watch it. Probably won't be posting that because it's probably personal. Then we got Wicked City, the anime title, I guess. I don't really know anything about this, but it looked kind of cool based on the artwork, so keeping that. Then we got a copy of Death Race 2000, Swedish release. Not too interesting, but I can't remember if I have this or not, so decided to keep it. Then we actually have 4 tapes from the Eroticon label. And these 4 tapes are actually in such good shape that I decided to keep them. This one has a little bit of mold. It's almost not even noticeable. Then we got, let's see, you can also go through the titles. This was Farmer's Daughter. Then we got Tracy Takes Tokyo. Also, it's barely visible, so I don't know. It's hard to tell. Here is, let's see, the Intimate Silk Panties. No idea what this is. A lot of these titles are translated, and the only one that stood out that wasn't was obviously Debbie Does Dallas Part 3, which I also, can see there's slight bit of mold there on the edge. But even so, seeing as these titles or these cassettes are so unusual, I've honestly never seen them myself. And I really do like the idea behind this label, having these sort of luxurious looking velvet cases. I actually saved 3 of them. These are empty cases to go with these. I only got the 3 because the rest were in such bad shape. But so this one, actually good shape, I would say. I love the gold foil to this. That's pretty cool. The second one, slightly worse shape, a little bit of damage to the back. And then the last one, also decent shape, but for some reason it looks like this is notably darker. I don't know what happened here. Maybe they changed the printing over the years, but the foil doesn't look quite as gold as it does on the other ones. But yeah, this is essentially everything I decided to keep. And I have to say, this was a 2-hour drive, 1 hour there, 1 hour driving back. Was it worth that time and money on fuel? I don't know, but I am really happy to stumble over these. I want to show you one more thing. These are essentially the tapes that I put in the maybe pile, and I wasn't really gonna come back to these, but the thing is that I cleaned this up. I sort of took all of the inserts out of the boxes and I sort of, hand wiped them with like a, just wet cloth or whatever. Just trying to get all the dirt, all of the mold, all of the little whatever off of them, and also sort of went through the tapes and just tried to clean the boxes. I replaced some of them, and I haven't done anything to clean the tapes because I don't really know much about that, but I'm looking into it, so maybe this is something we will return to in the future. Maybe not to look at these tapes, but to look at how you clean moldy tapes. I don't know, it's something I'm becoming more and more curious about. I will say that I don't think any of these tapes are like super collectible. So I'm not really looking to clean these tapes based on collectible value. I don't think any of these are super collectible. But if anybody is interested in these tapes, or 1 or 2 of them, especially for my Swedish viewers, do reach out to me. And I thought we would just look at them briefly. So the first one, it's Super Cop, and this is definitely the one that is in best condition. The insert is pretty decent, not too bad. It does have a little bit of wear and tear just at the top, but it did clean up quite nicely. And I also was able to use the original case. I can tell that all of these are on the outside, so the insert is actually in pretty good condition aside from some slight just wear and tear at the top. And this is also one of the few tapes that is almost mold free. You can see there's a slight spot up there, but it really isn't much. As for the God, I don't know why this is such an extremely tight fit. It's a bit strange. So anyway, the spine label, you know, a bit of wear on it, but still decent. No top label on this. I'm not entirely sure if there should be a top label. It's quite possible that these didn't have top labels. I really don't know. But regardless of which, it's definitely the one that's in the best condition. Next up, we got another Marianne video. This one I had to replace the case for because the case was just really infectious to me. This is called Ice Cold Nerves in the translation, and I'm not sure if we have the original title. I don't think we do, but here you can see some of the shape of the insert, primarily damaged at the top. The rest is pretty good. This is on the replacement case, so that's not on the actual insert. There's also handwriting here, which also because I replaced the case. And this one, quite moldy, pretty worn. So then we have the good, the bad, and the ugly. Quite a classic. I don't think this is super collectible either. Quite worn at the top. So same here. Replace it just with a clear case. And you can also look at the tape. As you can see, fairly moldy. So yeah, it is what it is. Then we have Ninja Protector and Shadows in the Dark. I already have Ninja Protector. You'll see that there's pretty much the same writing on all of them, but this is on the cases, not on the actual inserts. This is just because this came from that box which I picked up a while back, which tended to have the writing of the guy's name, who was apparently Bob. This is not a guy I bought from, but I think it's probably a friend of a friend or whatever, but it says Bob on most of the covers. So yeah, also quite a bit of mold on this. Looks pretty damn nasty to me, but that's that. Then we have an interesting one. This is Tora. And when I first looked at this, I just felt like, you know, it looks pretty clean, could probably be cleaned up, and it cleaned up really well. And the reason for this, which I think is quite interesting, is that if you look closely, this is actually a sealed insert. I've never seen a case like this, at least not for VHS. You can tell that it has this typical locking mechanism, which I've seen, but I've never seen a transfer release which has this seal edge. You cannot take out this insert. It is sealed on all sides, which is definitely something that I have never seen before on a VHS tape from transfer. So this meant that most of this is pretty intact. It does have some slight holes to it, so there could be moisture in there, but after I wiped it off, it actually looks really good as far as the case is concerned and the insert. Looking at the tape, unfortunately, this is quite moldy, but you know, somebody might be interested in this in terms of just replacing their own case, or maybe to clean this up, I don't know. Or maybe I'll do it myself at some point in the future. Then we have another one, and this is Kung Fu Master. And this one also cleaned up really well. It's not a super collectible tape, but either way, this is one of these double bills. This second film is called The Chinese Gang. I don't know what the original title is of this. If Karate Hit is something, I have no idea, but Kineserbanden, I believe, is the Norwegian or Danish title, so don't really know. Looking at this tape, this is also actually in pretty good shape. So as far as I can tell, this is mold free. So this is one which I'm actually going to keep for my personal collection. So this is one of the few I'm keeping. This one, you know, I think is also in pretty good standard, but I do have a copy of this already, which is in better shape. So this is also something I'm probably gonna get rid of. Then we have Neverending Story Part 2. This is a retail copy, definitely not a collectible. And looking at this, this is also actually in good shape, no mold. So I think I'm going to keep this for myself as well. And then lastly, we have Octagon and Titillation Part 2. So here we have a Chuck Norris film, which is a double billed with a more erotic Miss Special title. And I don't really remember, but yeah, this is also slightly sort of ridden with mold, pretty much all over the cassette there. But yeah, so that is essentially all of the bonus tiles. So the ones I'm keeping are actually these two. The rest is up for grabs. I figured I will probably try to sell these in one of the Facebook groups or keep them to trade or whatever. Just put them on a separate shelf to see if this is something I might try to clean up eventually, or if I'm just taking them to the bin. I don't know, but I'm keeping them for now. But that is it for this video. So I want to say thank you very much for watching. Really hope you enjoyed it. As usual, hope to see you all next time.